bit windy here, so hopefully it doesn't distort the sound too much. I'm just on my way to a cafe to do some writing. To meet up with some a family member and do a bit of writing and things. It was a really difficult night last night. I woke up at probably about 4 a.m, feeling quite panicky and a lot of pain and feeling very unwell. On top of it, it's kind of all mixed in. I think that's a lot of it is to do with me being under stress, perhaps, with the situation of the perhaps alternative sort of accommodation. And I think the decisions around that as well, like trying to work out, okay, what location would be good for me, and I think going through those thought processes or trying to access parts of me that has a reference or some kind of view or opinion on something or a feeling, it takes a toll. It's quite stressful to do. There's been some really good news. I'll say good news, but like I had a talk with my landlady, and she very kindly offered to kind of maybe meet me halfway of the rent increase. So that it still puts my finances under a little bit of strain. I've got to be very mindful of my outgoings, because I was kind of overspending even before that. So, but it also the urgency of having to suddenly find a replacement is now lowered. I don't know if it's lowered a lot or a bit, but it's definitely lowered. And it's strange. I feel like I've got to switch out of the mode of urgency, where kind of, I think, in the circumstances where it wasn't financially viable for me to kind of stay there long term, even medium term in some ways, it was a bit more of an urgency to find anywhere that I could just make do with. So the filters for that place would be a lot wider, and it was a kind of, in some ways, it made it simpler in some respects in regards to evaluating the place, because it was, just there's a little bit of obviously desperation there and a little bit of urgency, probably a better word. And now the urgency is lowered slightly. It's now made things a bit more unclear of, okay, can I cope, living in a sort of separate place where, I think, I have to manage my bills on top of that. The place I live in, it's all included. And then evaluate, okay, what do I want? And where do I want to be as well, located? So it's, and I think a lot of those thought processes are making me unwell. It's almost as if I can't cope with trying to go down that thought processes of that stuff. So one thing that came from it is that, not having to really make decisions on, about going this path or that path, but maybe just taking care of kind of the present moment of my health. So right now there's a lot of anxiety in me, a lot of stress, and so it's almost a kind of element of, again, there's probably something I could talk about in a podcast, but sort of gently putting things down for the time being, or for this moment, and just focusing on tending to the stress and the pain that's coming up, So it's almost like taking sanctuary from the storm, and then sort of reevaluating after that's passed, maybe. So it's not. And I think a part of that was in this sort of state of mind. It's maybe not wise to try and make decisions about where to live, what locale to live, and whether as I said, like moving to a slightly bigger space would be how that would look. It's almost looking through a cloud of, looking through like the mist and trying to decipher what's there, instead of maybe allowing the mist to kind of clear, getting a clearer outlook on what needs to be done. So I think I'm making sense with that. And I think it's perhaps important for me not to engage in a story about it, to think, because this could be, this feels more like a podcast episode now, but I'll try and keep it, sort of mental health related stuff, instead of spiritual. But it's quite often easy to maybe add more stress and anxiety and have negative thoughts about, kind of failing or not, not coping with this stuff, and it's kind of doing my best to avoid that, not necessarily avoid it, but not entertain that or not invite those types of thoughts. With, I think, just focusing on the present and thinking, okay, and right now I'm feeling this way. Okay, maybe that thing is causing me stress. Let's put that down for the time being. And there's no time limit with that. Tomorrow I may pick it up again and think, okay, yeah, let's do some conscious thinking about that part of my life. So I think that may be the way to go right now, just to deal with how my body's feeling, how my mind is feeling, and tending to that. Not having to. And the difficult thing is my mind is still trying to solve that equation about where to kind of live. I've got a couple of locations in mind, and it's trying to work out and figure out, and at the same time, it's causing me more anxiety to do that. So I'm trying to sort of temper the mind a little bit to where I'm not. Just get a tissue. Where I'm not adding more anxiety to myself. Because each one of those thoughts where the thought may come up again about trying to get a feel for a place and figure out, and before I know it, all of this painful emotion and anxiety is hitting me again. So it's kind of trying to be mindful about me not stepping into those thoughts and then generating those emotions. And it's really tricky to do, because obviously the mind, for me especially, it wants to now solve this thing about not knowing. It wants to be certain about, okay, am I moving, am I not moving, where am I moving to? So it's like I've got all of these things, and I need to maybe sort of cultivate a place of centre, cultivate a place of centeredness with just how I'm feeling at the moment, and knowing that I'm simply just sort of taking care of myself in this moment, and there's no kind of permanency about dropping ideas and things for the future. It's just and it's kind of continuously sort of trying to centre myself there. I think that's key. But still saying that, it's still going to be very, very tough. Once this anxiety has been built up in my body, and it's been obviously a difficult week with worrying about my finances and other things, and my rent and things. So all of that's probably built up over the week as well. So it may take a bit of time for that to kind of, for me to, things to settle down again within me. So yeah, that's the kind of plan anyway, in theory. Try and walk that path of understanding that, that film is the right way to go. So yeah, I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna get going now, and walk to the cafe and maybe in a really healthy way, so escape into a little bit of reading and writing as well. Maybe anything else that comes up. I reckon just as like the other day where I kind of decided to do some cooking and use that as a distraction when a lot of sort of pain was coming up. Then this feels a lot worse, a lot. Feels more of a sense that it's been built up for a little bit, so it's maybe going to take a bit of effort and time to allow it to pass, for my to kind of exit my body and allow my mind to calm down back to a place of stability. Is the wind kicking up? I thought it'd be helpful just to do a check-in and reaffirm sort of how I can sort of take care of myself today, and hopefully things from this point onward will just hopefully begin to calm down in me. I think that's the main thing, to give me some relief and and some rest with my body. Naturally, it's quite unpleasant with all of these emotions and feelings and panic. Even more importantly than that, the unwellness that the effect of that has on me. It feels like my while I was awake in the early hours, there was, on the surface, a huge amount of panic and pain, which was almost unbearable in itself, but I could sense underneath that was sort of eroding my faculties. It was kind of doing some damage there, so that was a bit of concern and worry. So I think it kind of sort of provoked this sort of thought of just really making my current state, taking care of my health is a priority right now. I've got to pack lunch, take with me also. Like I made some, got some rolls, and I bought these sort of vegan spinach bites. I don't know if they're called that, but so kind of smoosh those together into like a little, as a burger patty almost, and got that to have a bit later. And I'm hoping things calm down. I think that's what I really need, and it feels like maybe I'm doing the right things to go in that direction, and it feels like this is the right sort of steps to manage my feelings right now. And we'll see how the rest of the day goes. But